The Nevis Reformation Party, NRP, has a new leader. Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, the daughter of Nevis's first premier, took over the reins of the party her father led into independence 37 years ago. She has created history to become not only the first female leader of a party on Nevis, but the first in the Federation. Her challenger to the post, Cleone Stapleton Simmons, who is the only NRP representative in the Nevis Island Assembly, is now the deputy leader of the party. The leadership change took place in the business session of the NRP convention held Sunday at the Nevis Performing Arts Centre, NEPAC. In the public session, officials of the party in the various districts gave greetings and conveyed a message of unity and togetherness as they look to rebuild in the aftermath of 2 successive election defeats at the island and federal levels. The outgoing party leader and chairman, Dr. Kelvin Daly, addressed the gathering before the business session of the convention. He bemoaned what he described as the economic hardships facing divisions and touted that only an NRP government can deliver the people.
All sectors of the economy are declining as businesses close or reduce staff. The promised replacement of Brownhill Communications have not materialized. And the boatloads of investors waiting offshore have either gone adrift or have found safe harbor elsewhere. Not a single one of the 25 hotel developments promised and the hundreds of jobs that were promised to be created have materialized. It was all a bunch of lies.
The keynote speaker was Deanne Kentish Rogers, the newly appointed Minister of Education on Anguilla and one of the youngest members of Parliament on the island. In a virtual address, she highlighted the theme of the convention, representing our country's future, our hope, our aspirations.
So I'll circle back to your theme, representing our country's future, our hopes and aspirations, with this conversation to the young people of Nevis. The building of a sustainable Nevis fit for purpose for the future with all of the nation's hopes and aspiration, a national building assignment that you must actively undertake now. You do so by stepping up, asserting your right to represent you in the halls of government and to represent the collective. I exhort you to do so now and with the biggest, open, cleanest, most compassionate and dedicated beating young hearts ever. Do so with these structural supports that are the essence of the committed and unwavering you.
There were addresses delivered virtually by the chairman of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, Chet Green, and leader of the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Denzel Douglas. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline.
One of St. Kitts and Nevis' most experienced ham operators, Mr. Terry Adams, is calling on Skn to fix a major problem that is affecting amateur radio operations on St. Kitts. Mr. Adams said the problem is a severe frequency interference caused by Skn's smart meter system that is using broadband over power lines. The ham operator told Skn Newsline that Skn established the smart meter system without proper consultation and it is seriously impacting amateur radio operations.
What appears to have happened is that the Skn, which partly is a government institution, because I understand the government owns 100% in that company, and they went to improve, according to them, the system, the billing system, by using what they call smart meters. What they have not done was to consult with the competent authority, who is the NTRC, to advise them as to how to go about it. And they may have gone about it by just talking to persons in Canada. I think there's a company called Coronac to set up the smart meter system. And in so doing, when they set up the smart meter system, like I said, there was no consultation, only to realize that there's something called E2E, or concentrators, which would send the data to the system. Smart meter and the concentrator communicate and they send data to the head office. So for example, you don't have to wait every month to get a bill to pay. I think that was the objective. You could go into the office, and if you burn, let's say, 20 units for 2 days, you could go and pay that money. Forgetting that once they go broadband over power line, you will be producing one big antenna throughout the whole island. So this broadband over power line is what amateur radio operators has been affected by. Now, I have some audio, and if you play those audio that I tape, you will hear the noise, sometimes 20 decibels over. You can't hear nothing, Mr. Bat. You can't hear nothing with that noise.
The interference is so extreme that it blocks communications in the radio frequencies that have been assigned for use by ham radio operators. The noise and interference Adams is talking about is this. Adams wants Skn to fix the 3-year-old problem, but he said there seems to be reluctance to resolve the matter in short order.
But what they're saying to us is that there's no quick fix, and it's going to be costly. It's going to cost them millions of dollars. But tell me something, Mr. Barrett. You don't think that Skn or the government should have think of that before? Skn has electrical engineers, some of them with master's degree. I don't have that. And so they ought to have known that once they start to transmit randomly, and maybe not randomly, maybe with knowledge that they're going to be transmitting in the amateur radio spectrum, it has to be illegal. Because the International Telecommunication Union, they are a member or a body of the UN, the United Nations, which regulates telecommunication worldwide. And so when they assigned bands and frequencies, whether it's government, amateur, flow, or whoever, you cannot or you ought not to go into another spectrum and begin to transmit RF radio frequency. And that is what Skn is doing.
According to Adams, when the matter was first raised with Skn, the company denied its system was the cause of the disruption. As a result, several ham operators wrote to the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, as well as to the Amateur Radio Society of St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla, pointing out, he said, that what Skn is doing is illegal. Skn Newsline learned that the NTRC decision was in favor of the amateur radio operators.
Here is it that Skn got a cease and desist order from the NTRC to cease the transmission immediately. October coming, the 7th, can make a year. And they chose not to do it. And so I ask myself, is it right? Can a government institution break the law because they're part of the system? Of course not. If any ordinary citizen From Martin, Newtown, Newcastle, in News would have done that. The police would have done gone with them. As far as I'm concerned, nobody is above the law. And so, we are appealing to the government, Skn, the NTRC, ETEL, to ask Skn to stop, to find a fix. And because they're operating illegally, if you don't find a fix, to stop transmitting and go back to the old days and use the meter reader. You can't be breaking the law and be wrong and strong.
While Skn Newsline has learned that the matter is being addressed at the level of government and with the involvement of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority and the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission. Skn Newsline reached out to Skn for a comment on the matter and was provided with this statement. Quote, Skn is aware of the situation regarding the amateur radio and all smart meters. We wish to assure those involved that the relevant steps are being taken to remedy this matter. In fact, there was a meeting on Thursday, 10 September, with the Minister of Public Utilities, Honorable Sean K. Richards, and Minister of ICT, Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, as well as representatives from Skn, ETEL, and NTRC to devise plans to resolve the matter. In short order, revised proposals will be submitted in hope that all parties can reach an amicable solution. End quote. Ham operators play a very important role globally and are especially helpful in times of crisis when other types of communication systems fail, such as in natural disasters. In the Caribbean in recent times, ham operators played critical roles following major earthquakes and devastating hurricanes. It is important to note also that all ham operators are required to undertake several months of training, then sit and pass a competency examination issued by the National Licensing Authority. In St. Kitts and Nevis, ham operators are licensed by the St. Kitts and Nevis National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission. This media house will have more on the issue as it unfolds. Glenn Barth, Skn Newsline.
It's not just iced tea and it's not cold tea. But who said we couldn't be in the middle? We are Mother Becky Quenchers, a herbal iced tea. It's a different and innovative take on using traditional herbs for tea. It's a home-brewed blend of natural organic herbs and spices, ready to drink at any time. We've turned ingredients you've used many times into something crisp, thirst-quenching, and did we mention tastes awesome? Drinking tea just got better. Mother Becky Tea.
It's the new and improved Skn Newsline Android mobile app. With the Skn Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the Skn Newsline newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search Skn Newsline, and download the app today. The Skn Newsline mobile app. News on the go. Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Police are investigating a road fatality that occurred in Sadlers on September 12th. It involved a motor truck registered P8191, which is owned and was driven by Vincent Richards of Keon, and motorcycle P9391, owned and driven by O'Neill Doylan of Sadlers. The circumstances are that about 4 p.m., Richards was traveling along the Island Main Road from Sadlers to St. Paul's. When he got in the vicinity of the public bath, Doylan came out of a side road by the bath in front of the truck and continued driving. Richards swerved and lost control of the vehicle, which caused it to run into a nearby shed and flipping it on its side. Jimmy Jules of St. Paul's, who was a passenger on the back of the truck, was flung from the vehicle as a result. 28-year-old Jules was pronounced dead on the scene by the district medical officer. 4 other passengers and Richards were taken to the Gen General Hospital via ambulance. Maverick Morris of St. Paul sustained a broken arm and was treated and discharged along with Richards and 1 other passenger. Akimba Francis of St. Paul's and Omar Brown of Dieppe Bay remain warded at the hospital with bruises about their bodies. Doylen is being sought by the police to assist with the investigation into the matter, which is ongoing. He's asked to report to the Dieppe Bay police station or the nearest police station. Meanwhile, in other police news, police are investigating a shooting incident that occurred sometime after 1 a.m. on Saturday in Parson Ground. Preliminary investigations have so far revealed that a 38-year-old Devon Watley of St. Paul's was inside his mother's house in Parsons Ground when unknown assailants fired a number of shots through the window. He was transported to the Gen Hospital via ambulance. An X-ray has revealed that he received a single gunshot wound and the bullet is lodged behind his spine. The police are appealing to persons who might have information regarding this incident to contact the Violent Crime Unit by calling 467-1887, 467-1888, 662-3468, or their nearest police station. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline. Authorities in St. Kitts and Nevis will step up enforcement of the legal requirement for face masks to be worn by individuals when in public. Superintendent of Police Cromwell Henry noted that some persons have been playing cat and mouse with law enforcement, putting on their masks when police are nearby and then taking it off when the officers leave the area.
Now, I always say all people like to be babysit. Like, when there's no police around, they do things that they know they ought not to do. And when the police comes, they start to straighten up and do what they're supposed to do. So if the bus is on the road and they don't see any police, they take off their masks. As soon as they see a police stop the bus, everybody puts on their mask. So that is what we are facing. The persons have the mask in their bags or wherever they have them. Whenever they see a police stop the bus, everybody's mask is on. And as soon as the bus drives off, everybody's mask is off. So that is why we constantly appeal to people to take your health as your own responsibility and do not wait for someone to tell you, put on your mask. You know the reason why the mask is important, just wear it. Regardless of whether or not there's a police or there's some authority around, just wear the mask. The mask is for your health, not for the other persons.
Abdia Samuel, chairman of the National COVID-19 Task Force, said the time for action is now as preparations are ongoing for a phased reopening of the border in October.
Our borders are going to be open, and this is the time that we are heightening our strictness regarding compliance with the regulation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Samuel added that officials would continue to work hard to flatten the curve of the novel coronavirus in the coming weeks and months, but added that everyone must play their part. The chairman added that the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in the United States had designated St. Kitts and Nevis as a destination with a very low risk of COVID-19 transmission. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline. Matters of the economy and how Nevis will survive the tough economic challenges presented by COVID-19 were discussed at a meeting between Premier Mark Brantley and Cleone Stapleton Simmons, the opposition Nevis Reformation Party representative in the Nevis Island Assembly. Speaking on Issues radio program on Freedom 106.5 FM recently, Mrs. Stapleton Simmons said she requested the meeting with Premier Brantley where they discussed, among other things, her concerns about the state of affairs of the Nevis economy.
I would have reached out to the Honourable Premier. I think it was somewhat timely to do so, seeing that I was celebrating the mark of my 6 months anniversary in office. Also, I had some concerns, as I mentioned, about the protocols for the reopening of school. But we discussed a number of things, including the state of the economy and how we can really start to drive the economy with little initiatives. And then we also discussed the reopening of the borders and what protocols will be in place in relation as it relates to the hotels and trying to slowly get back to some form of normalcy. So it was a very productive meeting. I must say the Premier was very forthcoming and very accommodating, and so I do really want to encourage dialogue such as this between the opposition as well as the government.
Is this going to be an ongoing thing? Will we see another meeting or other meetings with between you and the Premier in future?
I should think so. I must say that the Premier would always update me, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. He would always write to let me know his government initiatives and ask for suggestions. So that dialogue has been established from the time I really took office. So it was just a matter of us really formalizing the meeting.
Mrs. Stapleton Simmons would like to see more dialogue regarding the policy framework for the reopening of the borders.
What I would like to see more is perhaps more engagement and dialogue in terms of what policies or procedures could be put in place or protocols for the reopening of the borders. I would also like to see common discussions about the driving the state of the economy, stimulus packages. So I think it's a bold step, it's a brave step. Normally in St. Kitts and Nevis we are accustomed to vernacular politics that is very adversary and somewhat controversial. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I think we all have learned many lessons, and one such lesson is that perhaps we ought to consider during these challenging times pooling ideas together and really putting the country above self and looking at how best we can work together to serve all Nivisians and Kittitians.
The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has announced plans to reopen the borders in October and promised further details on the protocols that will be followed. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline.
Commercial signs, decal printing, canvas prints, license plates, posters. We at Multigraphics are dedicated to providing quality products and service to our customers. Our team takes pride in the craftsmanship and is passionate about its work. Every job, large or small, is important. Most of our customers come to us through referrals. That's because our number one priority is service. We serve a wide variety of customers, such as restaurants, retail stores, manufacturers, trucking companies, and many more. Our capabilities include design, production, and installation. How can we help? We are located at Bird Rock at the Woods Right compound. Call us at 869-763-1511 or 784-491-7599. Multigraphics.
KVK Enterprises at Boyd's Housing Development, Trinity Parish, St. Kitts. For all your t-shirt printing, banners and signs, promotional products, shipping, motivational speeches, computer classes, agro-processing, art and craft, and desktop publishing. Come to KVK Enterprises at Boyd's Housing Development, Trinity, St. Kitts. Telephone 661-0118 or 765-7270. Email drkhrystus@kvklives.com or visit www.kvklives.com. KVK Enterprises.